you. How are you doing? So, I hope you're doing well. This is the beginning of my weekend, so I'm doing a bunch of filming. Not feeling up to doing much physically, which makes this hobby perfect, right? Because I can sit here and visit with you. Well, I'm sitting here in my cabin. It's still very, very cold. It's February. And I have my fire going, so you can hear the propane over there, the blower. And Jack's behind me resting. He's about ready to fall asleep. He snored a lot last night, so he might snore. But today's video is the Share the Love tag. I was really excited when I saw this. It seems different than other tags that have been put out there. Didn't require me to do a lot of research because 2024, I did not keep very good stats. So you probably noticed I did not have an end of the year wrap up. I'm a little confused of some of my numbers because I just didn't do a very good job of keeping track of some things. Other things I did a great job keeping track of because they were the things I was mostly interested in at the time. So this is the Share the Love tag. And then I had a lovely subscriber ask if I would please do one. So of course, yes, I was planning on it. I just bumped it up to the top of the list. So anytime y'all want something specific, just let me know. And it's probably on my list to do, but I'll bump it up for you. Okay, so this is a fun one. This was started with Elm Colors, and I will put her hashtag right here. Her hashtag. Yes, here's the hashtag. And here is her account. I will link her YouTube account in the description. Hopefully, Editing Candice, remember to do that. And I have the list of her questions right here. Yes. And so let's get started. Now, I've watched a lot of these, and every single person has struggled with picking just one. I am definitely going to pick just one because it isn't asking for your most favorite page. It's asking for a favorite page. So and I'm going to go with some recent ones because because things change. You know, we live in the moment. Moment changes. And right now, a finished page that I love, which is the very first question, is out of Anamorphia. You might be guessing which one this is. Because y'all were there with me on the journey. Now, this page I love for a variety of reasons, but not the coloring. The coloring is very minimal, really. It was not a lot of fancy stuff except for the nail polish that I put the bling on, but there wasn't a lot of fancy techniques done. But the reason this double page spread is so important to me is two reasons. One is these represent very real animals in my life. And it represents them in two ways. I had two best friend roosters. One was born from Poppy, my little rooster who is my teddy bear, and another hen that I have. And because he was the only egg that hatched, I bought him, and it was during chick season, I bought him a friend because chicks really shouldn't be raised alone. So I bought him a friend, and I had to pull him in and raise him inside because he was being picked on. So I bought him a friend who was this white chicken, who was a silky, and named him Lollipop. And I named this one, I didn't have a name for him at first. Oh yeah, we called him Elvis. We didn't know whether they were female or male, but I always ask for friends to name my chickens, and they named him Elvis. And this was named after another friend, Lollipop. Well, they both turned out to be roosters, which I have the worst random number generator when it comes to roosters. My RNG is terrible, whether I play a game or get chickens, and I have a lot of roosters. So they bonded and became best friends. So originally, this was those two, best friends. As I was working on this, they had grown up, and Elvis was getting big and dominant, and he started picking on the other roosters. He couldn't help himself. He's very much a rooster. You know, he's got all the testosterone and or whatever hormone they have, and he beat up Poppy, my favorite one, really badly, almost killed him. So while I brought Poppy into rehab in my home, I realized that Elvis was not happy being an enclosed chicken, because my chickens are enclosed in a big area where they don't have free range of the entire property because I have too many predators. And my dog, Jack, he would eat them. So I put him up for a pretty high price on Nextdoor, hoping to get a local. And sure enough, a neighbor of mine, just a little ways down, who has a lot of property and a big pasture and 12 hens and no rooster, was like, oh my gosh, I would love him. So I gave him to her, and I can go see him anytime. I hear him crow every morning, and he is happy. He's the king of his free range pasture over there. He's got 12 hens that are all his, and it really suits his personality. And they love him. They named him Albus, after Albus Dumbledore from Hogwarts. And Albus, because I hand raised him, he'll eat out of your hands, he'll let you pick him up, and they think that's amazing to have a big protective rooster that's also friendly. So it was a win-win for everybody. And so I still had Lollipop. I wasn't done with this page yet. So this page reminds me of their friendship that changed over time, because he grew up and Lollipop never changed. Lollipop stayed sweet. And then now it's sort of representative of the black Poppy that I have. He's black like this as well, because he was Albus's dad. And Lollipop, they coexist, but he's top dog, and he doesn't challenge that. He's not aggressive. So it's got two stories to it. It represents very living chickens that I love very, very much. They have my heart. So it could be friendship, but I also made this one more dominating. And it's funny because who was it? Someone posted a comment on my Instagram page saying my money's on the black one. And they would be right. The black one did win. Either black one you talk about, whether it's Elvis or Poppy, they both won. Lollipop is second fiddle. But I love this page because of that. The other reason I love it is that you guys were along the journey with me. This was what I'm calling opus. I'm not even sure I'm using that word right. But it means like a giant double page spread that I just take my time with and share my process with you. It's not like an addition to a page of the month. It's just something I'm enjoying for personal reasons, and I want to share it with you. And so sharing this with you throughout the journey was so fun. It really felt like you were along the ride with me. So that's why I love this page. It doesn't matter the coloring didn't matter. It was all about the process of doing it with you and what the page meant to me. So, yay, that's that. So what's an uncolored page that I love and that I want to color? That one. There are so many, right? But there's one. There's one. Let me get it real quick. It's out of order in my book pile. Hold on. Okay. This is another Kirby book, and this is my favorite Kirby book. Mythic World and Alien Worlds are my two favorites of Kirby. Mythic World I've colored the most in because I've had it longer. There's a page in here that haunts me. There are so many pages in here I want to do. I would like to finish this book. This is probably one of the very few that I would like to finish in my lifetime. Doubt it'll happen, but because I have many books I love. But the page that haunts me is this double page spread. I'm not sure I can tell you why, except for this part in here. I just see this page as very, very scary. It reminds me of the Police song, Many Miles Away. There's a shadow on a door, on a cabin on the shore of a dark Scottish lake. It reminds me of that song. What's that song called? And it's all about a monster that comes out of a lake and goes up to a cabin. And look, it's an unsuspecting lighthouse with a cabin attached. And here's these monsters. And I believe this is in Ireland, or is it Scotland? Page 28. Let's look it up. Scotland. in Orkney. So yeah, it basically is the Sting song, the police song. And this guy's side-eyeing, it's almost like catching me watching them is spooky. And all of this down here. So I think it's the scaling. So we can see that these are pretty far away. This guy's really close. This one down here is pretty far away. So just the depth of this water. And the finished pages I've seen of this being done have done such a good job, every single one. And they've all made it so that there's like, it's lighter here, but the water gets darker as it goes down. And that is terrifying to me. Even though I was a scuba diver forever and stuff, I am terrified of what's below me in the water. So this is a terrifying page to me, and I want to do it so bad. It's shown up in so many of my monthly pages. And I'm thinking now I'm going to make it my next opus. It was in line to be the next one, where I just work on it over time and share my process with you. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this hashtag of share the love gave me the kick I needed to I need to do this page that has haunted me for 2 years and get it done. Now, I think what stopped me is I can't decide which way to go with the monsters. I always thought, like a bluish green, there's some kind of reptilian, but I saw them done in red and I was like, oh, that's cool. So that made me think maybe I wanted to do them in red. So I'll have to think about that just a little bit more, but I want to get started on it. And I could start with the water and the rocks and everything else while I made up my mind about the monsters, because they don't need to match anything. In fact, I don't want them to match anything. So yeah, this one. I love this page. And I love this book. I've done the most pages out of this book. Basically, in these Kirby's, everything but Alien Worlds, this was the very first page I ever did in an adult coloring book. It's my favorite one with fur, and I have yet to figure out how I did that. I followed a tutorial that I can't find anymore. I use the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils to base everything, and then pencils or acrylic paint or bling or whatever on top. And it comes out really bright and beautiful like this. Yeah, I do love this book. I love this one. I made it very muted, and I made the wallpaper look dingy because this felt to me like an old structure that she's built a web in and lives in. And then this one's very opposite. It's super bright because she's a river siren and she has green hair. Yeah, so I love this book, and that's going to be my next opus for sure. Wonderful. In fact, I'm going to put it in my working on pile over there. Okay, next question. A book that you love. I love so many books, but I said I was going to pick one, and I picked one that I think you all know I love. So let me grab it. The yokai book. Of course I love this book. This was my favorite flip through that I ever did because I did not expect what I found. And so I was honestly and authentically hysterical throughout that entire flip through because I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And it's just so amazing. I'm working through this with a couple of people now. We pick 3 pages at a time, and then when we're done with those, we pick more. This is the one I'm currently working on. I love this book because of the stories behind it. I guess I'm a storyteller, and I love stories. And this book, every single one of these has a story that he's written over here. And he seemed to have picked the most obscure and crazy yokai there are out there. These guys do crazy stuff, and they're hysterical. Oh my gosh, they're funny. And I think his drawings also have a good sense of humor. The paper is great. It's single-sided. It will crinkle with some water medias, but not bad. It seems to take markers really well, which I love. And they're fairly easy. You can color them, just straight color them, which I do a lot. and, and make it, this guy sneaks up and cuts your hair. I mean, they're so very specific. Yeah, and you can straight color them, or you can add stuff to them. So they're kind of like the current craze of the little 8x8 books, where you can keep it as simple or make them as complicated as you want. And yet they're so, even though they are fairly simple drawings, they are so interesting. The way he's drawn them. A lot of them have food for heads. This guy eats garbage. They're just crazy. I mean, this one I think steals children. It doesn't say what they steal. This is just like a spirit carrying a fox by the head. I mean, they're just so... There's no horror stories like Japanese horror stories. And there's no mythological ghosties like the Japanese have. These are really good. This woman has like that giant smile. Ooh, and she'll slice your face. Evil kitty. This is like one of the good ones. These are like forest keepers of the forest, the Yokama or Kodama. So they are actually sweet. But most of these are not. That's a burning wheel with a head on it that rolls through your town. I mean, they're just very strange. And we started this coloring together, let's see, we picked like 4 months ago. So we've done 4 out of this so far. And we just keep trucking along. Yeah, this book is my, is a favorite. And if you're talking about just coloring in, it's a favorite, but not the favorite. But if you're talking about like just enjoyment, pure enjoyment, it probably is my favorite because it's hysterical and I love the humor in it. So yes, and if you have this book and want to color in it with us, we're very casual. There's no time constraints or anything. There's just there's just 3 of us now that are doing it, maybe 4, and yeah, just join us. It's fun. We have a good time. And I've experimented with lots of mediums in here, and pretty much everything works. This is a lot of oil pastel. This is Albert Durr's. This is Kuretake Gansai, the granulating watercolors. Yeah, so it takes a lot. There's another one in here I did, but no, that one. This is everything. I was testing my mediums on this. This is pencils and Albert Durr's and ink tints and the Kuretake Gansai granulating and acrylic. I was just testing a bunch of mediums on this page. Yeah. So this is definitely a book that is very close to my heart. All right. So, and I'll put that in the to be worked on pile because I'm working on that one. Okay. So the next question. A background that I love, and did I love the process or the end result? Okay, this is one you've just seen on my Instagram. This is one I did. I have a bazillion buddy colors, but of course, what did I do? Jump into a page that's not on the list. And I'm working on this one, the opposite page, but this is the one I did. Now this, I followed a tutorial from Cat and Paste, and here is her Instagram. And she also has a YouTube, and she does, we all know her and we love her, and she does tutorials. And one of her tutorials is adding pebbles to a background. And she does it in a Johanna Basford book, I believe. And I just followed her tutorial. Yes, these look very realistic, but I tell you, they weren't hard at all. And I'm in love with this background. This is my favorite background I've ever done. It's definitely the most, it wasn't the most labor intensive. I've done other backgrounds where I've struggled and spent a lot more time on it. I got this done in one full evening and then part of another. And this, because it's based in watercolors. So then the rest is just pencil on top and then some other treatments. And mine doesn't look exactly like her. She does a lot of the cross-hatching and stuff, which is not a style that I do. But so you can modify it however you want. But the basics of getting, it's a lot of layers. of getting the layers on is the same. And then I had already colored the crab before I realized I wanted to put this background in. So the crab's very fanciful. I would have made the crab realistic if I had realized I wanted to do a realistic background, but I like him. I want to go in and touch up this to make it less bright, but I was tired at the time and so didn't finish it. And then a group of mine that I'm in, just one of the groups I'm in, I posted this and said, I don't know how to make it look like it's underwater. So they kind of helped me with some ideas to how to make it look like there's water on top of it, like it's in the shallows. But in the background, there was none. It was like this with no background. Now I did make the pebbles go over, and I like the idea of some pebbles going over, but I don't think I want to do her with pebbles either. Both. So I'd like to make that a little bit different, but I will maybe sand or something that goes along with this. But yeah, this is a background that I love. This signifies a change for me in backgrounds. When I first started, I didn't do any backgrounds, and then I did very simple backgrounds, but mostly avoided them. And then I just declared I didn't like pages that had all this empty space. But then I started getting better. My skills improved, but mostly they expanded with new mediums. So as I learned to use new mediums, especially water-based mediums, because I just can't do a background like this all in pencil. That's just too much work, and I don't have the pencil skills for it, really. I'm trying one right now that I'm filming the process, a bouquet background done in pencil, and it's not turning out. I'm just not a skilled pencil colorist. But having a water-based medium underneath it really helped. And after that, it's all about colors and shading. And pebbles can be any color. So I kind of picked 4 or 5 colors, and I just used those pencils so that they would, no matter what pencils I used, they would all kind of go together. Even though they look like very different colored rocks, they're all the same pencils. And the pencils I used were polychromos, I think. I have it written down. When I go through my pages, in my finished pages for February, I'll talk about the mediums I used more in depth. But this is, yeah, so if you're interested in doing this, go to Cat and Paste. Here she is again. And she has a few tutorials on special effects. And this is one that is really easy to follow. And she shows you all the different steps she does. So yeah, that's the background I love. I'm really proud of that. And it's not fixed because I'm doing this, so I've got this paper in here. Okay. Now, the second part of that question is, did I like the process or end result? And the answer is both. I really enjoyed the process. I'd do this again in a heartbeat. It was a lot of fun. It was very, very meditative and calming. What style of pages do you prefer to color? Okay. Now for this, I do have a few books because I want to show you the different styles of pages. One, of course, is mythographics. Mythographic and mythogorias are and besides Kirby, because, Kirby's a given. Mythographics and mythogorias are my favorite series of books, and so I'm focusing on them for 2025 and doing about 6 total of those a month. And this is one I'm working on. I like mythographics because they're so unusual. I like pages that are unusual. I like pages that are detailed. I don't like pages that have details that are just extraneous and difficult to decipher what they are. But like this to me is a puzzle. And I kind of like that. I like to chip away at it, doing different elements and getting down to the center and figuring out everything as I go. And those kinds of pages are probably my favorite. This is the amount of detail that I like. It's not teeny tiny. I'm gonna need, that one is. These are older drawings by all of these artists. This is the vault. But I like them when they have enough detail to keep me interested, that I can play with mediums, that not too much white space. I still prefer those kinds. Even though I now am comfortable with backgrounds, I still really like to have, I have another mythographic. I still really, really like to have the detail. Now this mythographic I'm going to show you is my most colored in one, so that's Cosmic Spirit. This is a favorite of mine, and it's a favorite because it's so it's Fabiana at her best. This is my favorite one of Fabiana's. This really fits her style. She loves all the swoopy, swirly stuff that we don't really know what it is, but it works when it's magical pages. So I really enjoy this book a lot. And I work out of this book in my Color the Tarot series, which I promise you is coming. I know it's been on hiatus. So yeah, these are the sorts, fantasy, you know, pretty detailed. I'm not into architecture, really. I don't get into buildings. I've tried because they can be very detailed as well, but I'm just not, the buildings things I don't like. And just a portrait, like someone staring at me, I'm not really into either. Anime, that kind of thing, I'm not a good colorist of that. I really like semi-realistic that is in a fanciful setting like this, where I can just pick any color I want. Very, very realistic, like Kirby Rosanna's Fragile World, although I love it. I've only done one page in that whole book because I'm just not into so much the realistic coloring. I really like it to be fanciful and detailed where I can play with colors. And luckily we have so many books like that, that I have lots of opportunity to make mistakes. Yeah. And try again. Another book I love is Kirby. And this is a Kirby, Alien Worlds is one that I super, super love because I'm in the Alien Worlds group. And that group is so much fun. We've got like 60 people in there and it's fantastic. We talk about everything. But again, this is another one this is more detailed than the pages we just saw, but still so interesting. For me, a page needs to tell a story. I think that's why I'm just not into portraiture. Just a portrait of someone. I appreciate people who are into those because they like doing the hair or they like doing the skin tone. That really calls to them. For me, I want a story. I want something that's gonna tell me something that's going on, that I can make up a story in my mind. This is the one I'm working on now. Yeah, this whole book, oops, that one, look at that. That's gonna be a lot bled through. Plus I spilled some coffee on there. So much happened to this page. I'm really excited about it because I'm gonna fix it. Maybe I should film that, how I fix it. You won't see any of that when I get done. But most people would call that ruined, but acrylic covers everything. And luckily I'm using a lot of acrylic in this planet. So yeah, things that tell me a story, and they don't have to be that. Let's see, what's another one? They don't have to be that big or detailed or grand. They can be a small book, like this one, Karolina Kubikowska. I'm in a group that's working on her pages, and right now we're going through this book, doing quite a few in this book. Look at her, these are her colored pages. But see, they're small, more manageable, and actually really quick to color because she does a lot of the shading for you. Single-sided, this is a great book. This book is Circle of Nature, which I often call Circle of Life. So if I've called it that, yeah. And I've been experimenting a lot with monotone, just using one color in various shades. But this is very appealing to me. Now this is easy coloring. Yeah. Here's where I experimented with yellows. This is mostly gouache. And I love books where I can use any medium, but especially water-based mediums. This is watercolor pencil of some sort. This is the most recent one I did. I wanted to experiment with blues, and I started with the owl, but then I decided to go more realistic with the rest of it. But I'm not really a realistic colorist. This is when I was playing with my brand new Genzai Tombi granulating and also some graphitint. This is a very dark page. I like it. I also like kind of spooky, interesting stuff. So as you know, I do like the spooky. Did I grab a spooky? Yes, I did. Along with mythographics, I love mythogorias. And I'm actually in a group. It's started by Fiction Kitten, and it's a mythogoria group. And we do pages out of a lot of different horror books. I'm not sure what I have marked here. But this is my most colored in mythogoria, so I pulled it out. Now, these are spooky, but this one isn't as gory as like the Fabianas are. This is Shelley Carroll. And see, they're very detailed, but there's so much to dive into. I see this as like, ooh, a fresh, clean palette, and I just want to dive into it with, I don't usually start with a color palette. I really want to do this one. I might know what I want one element to be colored like, and then I just go from there usually. My pages where I do have a palette, I think are more cohesive and look better, but I don't often do it. This was my favorite mythogoria forever, and I still think it is. Although Undead Academy is a fantastic one. The whole book tells a story, and there's no gore in it at all. So if you're interested in these spooky books, Undead Academy is great. Here was my first ever super altered page. Actually, I've altered some others, but this one was the most altered I've ever done. I just I took the whole background out. All I did was leave the frog. And he was in a tree originally, and I made it into curtains. So like he was the, I added this hat. This is cut out. This is printed and cut out on sticker paper. I tucked it behind the tongue. I cut the tongue right there and tucked it behind. This is like the Michigan frog. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Excuse me. Oops. And that page is coming out. Yeah. So these I love. And this one, Vengeful Force, and then Shelley Carroll's newest one, Fairy Nightmares, is like Vengeful Force 2. And it's fantastic. So those two are probably my favorite now. Although Undead Academy is right up there. This one is the famous finger that once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like this picture's flipping you off. This was this was the very first one I did. So see, I didn't have a color palette for this. I started with the babies. I made them red, and then I made sure everything was reddish, so reddish browns, reddish yellows. But I didn't have a color palette for this. In fact, I got to the murder squirrels were last, and I was kind of stuck. I didn't know what to make them. So I just sort of did a reddish version of what I did the leaves, and they're not realistic at all. But hello, it's demon babies in a tree. This one I really enjoyed. I did this with a buddies, a couple of people, and they did such amazing work. Everybody took it a little bit different. Yeah, so this one is heavily colored in because it's such a good book. I did this with Coloring Mom with Paula. Hers is so good. So I get to experiment. I love the paper. Now, Mythagoria paper is not as thick as Mythographic. So it's a little bit different paper. It's thinner. But it's still really good, and it'll take anything. And that's what I love about these books. That's a style of book that I really love. I love it that the paper, I love it single-sided, and that it can take anything I want to throw at it. It doesn't have to be super thick and fancy. Just don't fall apart on me. So Mythagorias and Mythographics are a style of book. That style, that level of detail is my favorite. The fantasy aspect, my favorite. So those are the kinds of things I like to color. But that being said, I had to mention color by numbers. I love color by numbers. The problem I've had is finding some with good enough paper. But the Hatchet Hero books from Lyrica are my favorites, and then this one. And I've done a lot in this. And as you know, this is the one that, or maybe you don't, but if you've been around, you know, this is the one that I didn't like, that because I use alcohol markers on a lot of them, the backside would get messy. So I decided to use up some of my huge stash of paper pads, this kind of cardstock paper pads, and try to put something that might be relevant to the page across. This was the first one I did. I did it with paints. Didn't like it, so I didn't go back to change some things after that. But yeah, so now it's more of a book that I love to flip through. Now, the more I'm doing, the thicker this is getting as I'm adding this cardstock. But this book is stitch bound, and it can handle it. It's really well made. The color by numbers are very simple compared to like a Hatchet Hero ones, like the Disney ones, the coloriage. And what I do with this book, I need to go around the edges of this one. What I do with this book is when I'm painting other pages, when I have a little bit of acrylic paint or whatever gouache left over, I'll come and find that color in here. Now the colors are in the back, but this folds out. So the colors are here. There's only 30 colors. And so like if I've done a page that's in bright greens, I can come here and go, oh, 9 is bright green. And I'll just flip through and find pages that have 9, and I'll just do those 9s real quick. So this book, it fills up over time. I don't sit down and do one page all at once. So like here I had some red I needed to use, or some black. Black I often have left over, so I'll do black. I usually don't put this second page on until I finish this, because I don't really know what the colors are yet. But here I had some blue left over from another, so I found a page that needed that color blue. The blacks again. So there's always whips in here, and they just sort of fill up over time. Here's one I broke my rule and did put a page in, just because I found this and thought it would be really cool with this guy. And I knew it was going to be lots of browns. But I had some red one time, and yeah, so once it gets about this done, I might pop in and finish it. But I might wait till I have some 12. What is 12? Blue. I always have blue. So when I'm working in a blue and I have some blue paint left over, I might do this sky. So see, they're fairly easy. I use a lot of acrylic paint in here. Acrylic pens. This is a metallic paint. This one was fun. So I've done a bazillion in here, but just because they sort of feel it. Now this is one I did sit down to do all at once because I love Madame Mim. And I tried some new things here. I tried some alcohol markers. Again, they soak into this paper, as you can see, but I liked the texture it left for this page. And then here I tried to do a messy treatment of gouache to make it look like stone. This page is not as successful as I'd like it to be. Here's one that's just in process. Same, had some black. This one I finished not too long ago. This is one I had some black, and then I went in one day and did all the rest. And I was experimenting with some cheap glitter glue I bought from the dollar store. I threw it away. It wasn't any good. But I like it. Be different, babe. I do like her a lot. These are all villains, which are my favorite. I'm not into the princesses at all. I don't have any, I mean, I do have a Thomas Kincaid princess one, but I'm not into coloring the princesses. I like the villains. See, there's some black that I needed to use again. So that's how I'm using this book. This was some green I had left over, and it turned out that, what is sticking on here? It turned out that that wasn't the right green. I didn't like it. Why is that sparkly? Who knows? It tore. Sometimes I get paint on the sides. This looks like it just got wet. Something happened to it. Oh, I don't remember seeing that one. Yep, and then I have one that I did for February that I'll show you. I think this is something sticky that got on it. Glue. It's so funny. On purpose, I did this one. I just finished it last night. This is for the Year of the Snake. I thought it'd be fun to do Kaa from the Jungle Book and for Year of the Snake, because I think he's funny. In the Jungle Book, he's always falling down into a heap or getting bonked in the head. I think he's great. Trust in me. I thought this peach was a weird color to call for, but whatever. I had a fun time doing this. This is Albrecht Dürer in here, and then everything else is acrylic. Yeah, so that's how I work with this book. So this is another style of coloring I like. I like color by numbers, especially I like this book for simple color by numbers that's just relaxing and fun. And I love, since I started putting these in here, it makes it fun to flip through. I know there's at least one of you that's doing that as well. It's a very thick book already. This one you can find on Amazon. You used to be able to find it at Walmart, but you can't now if you're interested. Oh, you can't see the ISBN. It had a sticker over it. It's Thunder Bay Press. And it's Disney Villains colored by number. And then, and this one's always by me, so I can grab it. But I also do like these. I love these. So I think what it is my style of coloring, you know, for like all the grown-up coloring, the fancy coloring, is all very, very detailed. So then I like the opposite. I like color by numbers to relax my brain in between. And I've done quite a few in here. I love these with acrylic paint and acrylic pens. I like to cover up. This was a bottle of acrylic that I got rid of. It was no good. It's way too streaky. That's another way I find out. This one I never finished. I didn't like the reds I was using. I don't even know what they were now. I think it's never going to be finished. I don't even know what it is. This one, I was still experimenting. These two I did before these two. I like that creeper face, but I was experimenting with different pens and different treatments, and it didn't work out so well, but that's fine. There's always another one. Turn the page. There's bazillions of these. But in this book, I was still finding out what was working for me, and I love this book, this Looney Tunes. I grew up with Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny was my bae. So this one's great. So these characters are characters that I really grew up with. And I have Looney Tunes 1 and 2. I don't have the third one. I want to color more in 2 before I get 3. I've colored a lot in this one, but not. And see, they're not too busy. So this is a very relaxing book to color in. I don't think I've done any others now. This is very relaxing. So I like this a lot. So that's, whoa, I almost threw my water glass. So that's another style. But the other style of color by numbers I like is super, super duper detailed. Like little tiny fine liner pens. I do like that. And this book, I got this off of, yeah, this wasn't a gift. I got this off of Mercari. It was in a bundle of books, super cheap. And I know this isn't everybody's favorite book because it is tiny. It's a coloriage mystère. But It's hardback. It's long. It's very long, tall book. And it's Jeremy Mariez is the illustrator. And I know some of you have it, but many folks haven't colored it because look at that. It's so tiny. And look how many colors it calls for. I mean, we have letters and numbers. Yeah, it is so, so tiny. But there are some times when my brain wants this. And I actually did a finished page that you're going to see. This is what they turn out to be. Now, this is a little risque. Warning, warning. But isn't that incredible? Now, I did this mostly with the Languo gel pens that are popular now that we get off of Temu. And it was just little tiny, sometimes even hard to see. But it turns out so good when they're this small. So I like this book. I think the former owner did attempted a page, which I'll finish. She got a good start on it. I'll just go over it with acrylic. It looks like she was using water-based markers. But yeah, here's one that's not, some of them are not so tiny, like this is pretty normal here. But that, holy cow. So yeah, this is another book. It's a new book of mine, which is why it only has one page colored, but I'm about ready to start another one. And I love it. I love this teeny tiny details. So I'm gonna knock that, I gotta move that water. So teeny tiny details, fantasy details, color by numbers, I love. And I do also have just started falling in love with, I also love stuff that's not detailed and not so fantasy. It's just like cartoony. I do like that. I've colored quite a few in here. I also spilled coffee in here. But I'm in a group, a Silent Fright group. We work out of this book. I don't know if we're doing one in March or not. Yeah, February's, but not March. There's a Little Red Riding Hood one. I should do that one. I love this artist's style. It's cartoony, yes, but it's also got a style to it. It's interesting. It tells a story. As long as they tell a story, I'll color it. As long as there's something interesting in it. Yeah, I think I'm working. I've got a whip in here. I spilled coffee on it. This was last month's, and then I haven't started this month's yet. These are fun, easy to color. They've got big spaces. They're single-sided. Again, the paper will take water medium. It'll even take coffee. And I think that's what I love about it. Plus, the book to me can't be AI. It just can't. AI hurts my eyes, hurts my heart a bit, and it's ugly to me. It can't, I don't want to do Shutterstock either. I do have some books where some of the elements are Shutterstock, but then there's drawn elements in there as well, and that's fine. I want to see the artist's style. I want to see something different that looks, like the little cute and cozy ones. There are some that are drawn by real artists, and they're the best ones. They're the ones everybody likes. Vivi Tintas and Gabby Wolf has some. But the ones that are just like churned out of a program that all look the same, I just don't want to color a book like that. I want it to be different and special. This is it's precious time, money, yes, but also my time. My time is priceless that I'm spending on this, and I have so many pages I want to color. I don't want to color a page that's turned out by a program. I want to color a page that someone put their time into. And so that, it's almost like sharing a moment with the artist when you color their pages. So this is a fantastic book. I love this book. And then I guess I have to mention this. This is a recent fascination, and I'm going to be pulling all these out and showing them to you. I've become a little bit obsessed with these classic colorings. So there's Coloring the Classics, a Coloring Classic, and I think there's another Coloring Classic. Anyway, they're series of books. They're always on great paper. They're always double-sided. They're always shaped like this, kind of this large square. And this is one, I'm getting them used. I'm finding them on eBay and on Mercari and Pango, and don't really see, a lot of these are not sold on Amazon anymore, but you can find them used all over the place because they're not super popular. People aren't into double page spread after double page spread, but there's something about these scenes. They're always scenes that tell a story because, duh, it is a story. This is based on Wuthering Heights. This is the one I'm going to do out of this one first. There's something about them that I'm a little obsessed with right now. You saw me color some at Christmas time. I did A Christmas Carol. That's one that I have. The Dr. Seuss one. They're just always based on a book of some sort. And I love them. Even the wallpaper ones, because I've been inspired by people like Doodle Robot and Soraya Colors and people who alter pages. And you can alter a page like that is just asking to be altered. But they're always drawn by a real person. This one was drawn by Elizabeta Stojnic. She's in Milan. So that's the other thing about them. So we're talking great paper. We're talking a real artist, lots of space for creativity. I mean, these are just starting to really, and they're always beautiful, beautiful covers, beautiful pages. And I love the size. The size is great for me. So I've been collecting these kind of like crazy. I find them super cheap, $3 or $4 off of these sites. And so I've got quite a few of them. So I'm going to do a standalone video of just those because amazeballs. And then I guess I do need to add this. I love foreign books, especially Korean, but I can't really afford them, so I don't really have them. This one was sold on Amazon, and this artist, one of you lovely folks, one of my beautiful subscribers, bought the second one from this artist. So I have both of them now. It was Suzanne from Norway who got that for me, and her and I are buddy coloring a page out of that. The Korean ones, kind of like the Japanese, sometimes do have the colored page, and then they have the page for you to do. And I find that inspirational, although obviously I didn't stick to it. And then they have like the colored page, and then the one for you to do. But the reason I love these is I love Asian art, Asian style art. I love the paper's always good. These are almost always sewn bound, although this one might be glued. It is glued. They're usually heavy, heavy paper. Here's one I did. And we'll take anything except, alcohol markers, because I don't want to sacrifice that page. Here's one I did. My favorite one in here that I did is in the back. That one. I love that one. That's the first time I tried making, I do a lot of experimenting in these books. I made a fake bokeh background, but I also did transparent fabric that had sort of a, not all transparent, but like it was like a gray transparent taffeta? No, that's not the right word. Anyway, like a silk, but very, very thin. I experiment in these books because, as I've said in other videos, if you want to experiment, pick your books with the best paper. Don't try to experiment in an Amazon paper because you're just going to be frustrated. You want to pick a paper that can handle any medium if you want to experiment with any medium. You don't want to pick a paper that handles only a few mediums if you're trying to experiment with different mediums. It's just going to be a fail for you, and it's not going to be fun. And it's not going to give you a good idea of what that medium can do. So this sort of paper can, and I know it's scary because this is one of my very most precious books. It's scary to experiment, but anything can be covered with acrylic, and there's lots of pages to color. So I experiment with a lot of things, and sometimes my experimentation is with very conventional means. Like this, I experimented a lot with pencils. I really got to know my polychromos pencils, and I got to play with different shading of ways that I wouldn't normally shade, and blending colors that I normally wouldn't blend, and I used Gamsol to blend this. And so it was, pencils are the most conservative medium there is. And, because you can erase them and they're very easy to get. But I'm not very good with them. So I experimented with them in this book. So this book is one of my top precious books in my collection. And I absolutely love it. So if I had some of those great Japanese books like the Bunny book, I really want the Bunny book. If I had those books, those would be part of this as well. That's another style of book that I like to color on that sort of paper with a very different cultural feel to the page. Okay, we're done talking about what I like to color. Finally, thank goodness. So now we're at what objects do I like to color? And as you saw from those, it's a lot of everything. I go through phases. I might have phases where I love coloring trees, like in Vengeful Forest. I might like coloring trees. I go through phases where, like in this book, I just wanted to color a big expanse of something, and I wanted to use a color I don't normally use in a medium I haven't been able to use. So this hot pink and hot orange was some sort of a gel crayon, and I just wanted to do that. So I found a page with a big expanse that I could do, and I made the water pink and orange. I go through phases and fancies where I just suddenly want to color something. I've also done this, which is completely different, and mostly water-based pens. As much as I love animals, I'm not really into coloring animals unless there's some sort of fantastical beast, probably because of the fur. Once I remember how I did that fur on that ape, and I find a way of doing fur that I'm comfortable with, I'm sure that animals will become a popular thing for me. I do love coloring spooky stuff, horror, mostly mythological type creatures I love to color. I'm not into coloring blood and guts, but that often goes with horror. I'm showing you this book just because I really, really like this book. This book is one of those that has great paper. It's a great size. I thought I had another one in here. And every page tells a story. But there isn't really a single object I like to color. I do like coloring glass, but that's because I figured it out. So I think once I figure out something, then I like coloring it. This is a new book to me. I also like coloring humor, anything that's humorous. And these kinds of creatures, fanciful creatures, where I can make them any color I want. I'll have a lot of fun with the skin tone on this, much more than I would have of the skin tone of, some blonde woman sitting there with flowers on her head. Because I can make this skin tone any color. For me, I don't know that there's too many objects I don't like to color. Flowers. I don't like flowers. I find flowers extremely boring, and I only do them because they're part of a page that I want to do. So yeah, that's the only downfall for these Denise Clip books for me, is every page has flowers in it, but the pages themselves make up for me because they're so good. They're so funny, but there are a lot of flowers. Yeah, that's probably flowers and buildings. Not crazy about coloring books. I guess flowers because I don't get very creative with them, and I find it, they're so repetitive. There's always plenty on the page, and so I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, and repetition bores me. So I don't like anything that's repetitive. And then buildings and books, because of the straight lines. I prefer to color rounded lines. I've discovered that over the last couple of years. Like, I like rounded lines. The straight symmetry, which is why people who love coloring buildings love it, I don't care for as much. And it might have something to do with the fact that I tremor, I have shakes, and it's hard for me to draw a straight line, or I don't know. I have a hard time keeping the marker or whatever I'm using from streaking. I don't know. I'm just not crazy about coloring straight lines. This is a great book. What embellishments do I use? There are lots, but there are two that show up all the time. One is this Sakura black glaze pen, which always only has that much ink in it. I cannot keep myself in these, and they are stupidly expensive. A pack of 2 is like $8. It's ridiculous. And they're in every page. I've got something like this in every page. They're kind of precious to me because they are expensive, so I get down to this and I get sad. And then, you guys are gonna laugh. Super golden markers. This is my 3rd pack of these, of the little ones. And then I also have the big ones, the big round ones, and those I still have the first pack of. All of these, besides the first one I purchased, then everyone after that has been purchased by friends and by subscriber friends, because they know how much I love them. And I'm on my 3rd pack, and already I was struggling with one of these last night. Was it the gold? No, I think it was this one. I think this one was, yeah, this one's running out, and it's my 3rd one. I use these all in every page. I think they're the easiest, bestest blingy there is, and I can't be without them. It's just so easy to grab them and color, and they go down well, they stay well. I have found some other mediums that I love, for some reason it shrinks as it dries, and then you see some of the white page, or it comes off with your fingers, the glitter does. I don't have any other glitter, paint or pen, that's as good as these. And I have a lot of glitter, and there's some that I'm just going to chuck because it's just terrible. But these super metal colors are so good. So good. So yeah, I'm about going to need a 4th one because I'm running out of my 3rd one. I can't believe how much I use these. All right. What favorite color to color with? Is it same as your favorite color? I don't have a favorite color. I never did. Growing up, black. It was black. I wore black head to toe. I liked black. And then it just became popular to wear black because I was in the goth period, although I was never a goth, but it fit in. It didn't look out of place. So I was a wavo in new wave music, and they had all the colors, right? But I liked black. I liked black on me. I felt comfortable in black. It's just a non-color, I guess, that I love. But it's not the color that I color with all the time. My mom likes me in like a teal blue, not teal and not turquoise, kind of like a sky blue. It's about the same color as my eyes, and she likes that color on me. I would wear it for her, but mostly I liked black. I don't have a favorite color to color with. But my preferred coloring colors, I think I'm all over the place. Don't you? Do you see me having a pattern? I do like an olive green, and I use that in almost every page that has foliage. I'll have that olive green in there somewhere. I do like that. In fact, I like that in clothing as well, and it looks horrible on me. I have yellow toned skin, so it makes me look even yellower. So that's a color I use a lot. Use a lot of bright, dark reds, which are hard to find. But I don't really think I have a preferred color. Okay, hobbies other than coloring. I crochet. I am still working on a sweater. It really doesn't. It's at a point where it's very repetitive, so I think that's why I stopped. Plus, coloring is my main hobby. Coloring, I think about coloring. I take it to work with me. I do it before bed every night. I work on it all weekend. I just don't really. Right now, and for the last couple of years, it's been my main hobby. And my other hobbies, really, I haven't really done much. I used to read a lot. Don't do that anymore. I used to diamond paint, and I have a diamond paint waiting for me if I want to put it together, but I'd rather color. I used to scuba dive. I used to do a lot more physical outdoorsy stuff, and this goes to the next question, which is, are you an indoor or outdoor cat? I was an outdoor cat. I grew up in the woods. I live in the woods now. I was outdoors all the time. You couldn't keep me inside. All my hobbies were outdoors. My whole family's hobbies were outdoors. We camped, we snowmobiled, we swam in the lakes and oceans. We were very outdoorsy. And I remained outdoorsy as an adult until I got ill. So since I've been ill, I've become an indoor cat. And that's fine by me as well. I'm fine with that. I'm happy wherever I am. So being an indoor cat is lovely. I have, instead of spending all my money on going places and travel and all the things I love to do that I swore I'd be doing the rest of my life, I now spent my money on this cabin. The mortgage is rather high. And so all my money goes to that so that I have a nice, beautiful, little, comfortable place to stay. That's just mine. And I feel very safe in here and comfortable. I practice my Buddhism from here. I'm a Buddhist nun, in case you didn't know, an ordained Buddhist nun. And so I have a property that the former owner had closed off, but I opened up because it's along a walking trail. So I opened up my property so people could walk through it. And that gives me plenty of opportunity for people to reach out to me if they need help or to just stop and talk, usually, and visit with me. I give away eggs to neighbors and stuff. So I get to practice my practice here. And we had a big fire that went through here and burned 300 homes. And for some reason, the fire jumped my cabin and didn't burn it down. So I was here when everybody was rebuilding and through their trauma, and I was able to help them through that. And there's a lot of PTSD out here. Every time there's smoke in the air, people panic. So I'm able to be of service. So I love living out here. It's nice and quiet. Jack likes it. And I'm only 12 miles from my parents. They live 12 miles closer to town. They're aging and need support, and so I'm here for them. And they can watch Jack while I'm at work. What do I love most about coloring and the coloring community? That's you guys. It's the connection. I love to color, but I was at kind of a low when I discovered coloring videos, and they helped me kind of come out of that low. I'm not a depressed person, but I was realizing that a lot of my behaviors were on anxiety and not everyone else's fault. The call was coming from inside the house, and I was processing that. And that's when I discovered ColorTube, and what people were putting out was so beautiful. And then they were being so authentic and honest. It was really refreshing. And I just found them very soothing videos to watch. And that's when I gained so much from those videos. I also learned a lot and opened up my eyes to this whole world and possibilities. And I started purchasing some books, and I started following people's recommendations of mediums, and it gave me so much. It enhanced my life so much that I wanted to give back. And so that's what this channel is about, is giving back. I don't ever want to put a paywall up where you'd have to pay for what I'm putting out there. That's not the way a nun works. Whatever service I can provide or support I can provide or entertainment I can provide, I want to be free and available to all. However, donations to my PayPal or the wonderful gifts you all send me is greatly appreciated. And that is really how nuns work. Buddhist nuns and Buddhist monks, they survive by the support of their community. And then what they give back is support and guidance and just a compassion. And in return, the community supports them so that they can live, gives them food and stuff like that. That's what ethnic Buddhist countries do. And I feel like kind of that's what's happening here. And so the more reciprocity I'm receiving, the more I'm giving out. And we're just I'm giving more and you're giving. I mean, it's just like this wonderful, wonderful exchange that's keeping this channel going. And it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt that that I'm getting a little bit of YouTube's annoying ads. So might as well put that to work. If you have to suffer through ads, might as well put that money, might as well get a little bit of sense off of that and put it into the channel so that I can keep it going and give you better and better content. So my whole purpose is to give back to the community that gave so much to me, to connect with people. You guys, I consider some of you very close friends, many of you very close friends, and to be there if you need anything, and to just really enjoy this. This is a soothing, anxiety calming hobby that I think works like a type of medicine. It's medicine for the heart and brain and soul, and I love it. And I love all of you so much. So much that I love to sit here in my cabin and make these videos and feel like I'm really talking to you, like you're here in my living room with me and Jack. So that is my share the love. Thank you so much, Elm Colors, for putting this tag together. What a lovely tag and a way to connect with people. And I hope that all of you have a great day. If any of you have a channel and want to do this tag, I'm tagging you. And it's really fun. It's really fun to learn more about yourself and also to connect with other people by being open and telling people about yourself. All right. Take care, you. Have a wonderful day. I love you. Bye-bye.